Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ally.
And this is the But Have You Tried Bookshelf. No, we have music. You don't have to do that.
I know, but the way you said bookshelf,
Oh, it had sort of
I felt
an ominous...
obligated.
Yeah, that makes sense. How you doing?
Pretty good.
It's muggy today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're feeling that. I was really hoping that I could avoid all the complications that come with seasonal changes, and I've been doing well so far, but today I was like, here it comes. The sinus pressure, the allergy things, the headaches, it's happening to me. How are you? I just want to check in.
I'm doing okay. You know, like last year my allergies were so bad, which I've basically never had before.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that Caleb passed them to me when we got married.
I'm telling you, the post-college glow down, it comes for all of us, Allie. You're in it.
You know, I often hear parents, older parents talking about oh, it's good that you have kids when you're young, when you're in your 20s and you have energy. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't have it.
I
already don't have energy and I haven't had kids yet. I'm really worried about how this is going to go.
Yeah. I was 31 when our son was born, and I have no regrets about not having children when I was 21.
Did you have the energy to do it?
I think I did. Yeah.
Because I already feel like I'm way too old to deal with being up with a crying child in the night or anything
it's a lot.
That.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. I am. I'm tired just thinking about it. But I've been taking so much Zyrtec every single day for months.
Okay.
And I have had minimal allergies, and I'm super happy about that.
All right, Zyrtec is not a sponsor, but have you tried?
No,
just
it's off-brand Zyrtec too, for the record.
Okay.
All
right. The library is always open to donation, so if off-brand Zyrtec wants to toss some money, it's a tax write-off. You know what I mean? It's a win-win.
It's true.
Let's get into it. This is our bookshelf episode, and I want to hear all of the varied things that you have been doing. Let's talk about movies. Tell me some of the movies you've been watching.
Okay, I watched a movie called Love Again.
Okay.
It's a 2023 movie. It's directed by Jim Strauss.
Does it have that Dua Lipa song in it, Love Again?
I don't think so.
Oh, what a waste.
I didn't notice it, but I also am terrible about
you'd notice if Dua Lipa was in there.
I would notice if Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
But I don't always know the name of a song or sometimes even the artist of a song. I'm like, I recognize this song. Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah.
This is starring Priyanka Chopra Jonas. It actually has her husband. He plays this dude she goes on a date with, and it's a terrible date, which I think is hilarious.
That is funny.
Right? Yeah. It also has Sam Heughan and Celine Dion herself playing herself.
Oh, playing herself. Oh, that's fun. That's always a fun
it was
gambit.
Fun. And they included some real stuff about her life. She was talking about marrying her husband and everything. And I was watching it and I was like, is this real? And I did some Googling. It's real. What they include about her husband.
I thought Celine Dion didn't speak unless she was in a concert. I've always heard this.
I don't know.
Is this a lie? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Celine Dion. She spoke in this movie.
Okay. Do you know anything about the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I like some of their songs.
Yeah, I do too.
Some of the songs after they were we haven't done anything for a long time, but we're going to do things again.
Yeah, Sucker, that era, I like.
I think that's fun.
Okay. Did you like the movie?
I did. It was pretty fun.
Okay. That's cool.
I'm pretty down for anything that Priyanka Chopra Jonas does.
Okay.
She's cool.
All right. It's weird to add that Jonas on the end.
It feels weird, but I'm it is part of the name, so I guess
Yeah.
It's obligatory.
Yeah, it's respectful. I watched a couple of things here. I'm going to start with Unfrosted. It's written and directed and starring Jerry Seinfeld about Pop-Tarts, set in my hometown, Battle Creek, Michigan.
Was it good?
You know what? I really liked it, and I don't like standing on this island by myself because I feel like the reviews have been pretty meh, and it is an interesting watch. It's sort of a hyper reality, you know what I mean? It's not crazy over the top to be a full-out farce, I would say, but it's definitely everything is exaggerated and big. And it's kind of poking fun at all of these, here's the history of the BlackBerry or the game Tetris or whatever that's been kind of popular lately. It's a great cast. Every single person who speaks in this movie is a top-tier comedian or actor. And it's not I sat there and laughed out loud the entire time, but it was just one of the most pleasant and enjoyable movies that I've watched in a while. And Hugh Grant plays Tony the Tiger in it, so...
I mean, that's a selling point there for
sure. Have you heard anything about this movie?
I actually have, for the most niche reason.
Okay.
So the woman who plays Little Debbie.
Okay. All right.
She's on Instagram as like a sketch, like an acting sketch person.
Okay. All right.
She like does these sketches where she'll be like every like they're just friends in high school movie. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she'll do a sketch that's that, and then she'll do like 20 sketches that follow it up, and it'll like turn into this entire like multiverse situation.
I love the commitment. All right.
It's fantastic. They're really good. She's Little Debbie, and so I saw stuff about this when it was coming out, and I kind of want to watch it. It does look fun.
My wife did not want to watch it, and I mean like did not want to watch it, and I put it on, and she was like, "Oh, here we go," and even she came around. So I feel like that's a sign of a good. I don't know if like knowing the rhythms of like Jerry Seinfeld's humor helps, because you kind of know what you're expecting, because it's not really like you're watching, you know, like a Seinfeld style joke, but there's something to it that's kind of like, yeah, I get this patter, I get this, you know. So I don't know. I want you to watch it, and I want you to like it, so we can talk about it.
I'll plan to watch it
because right now
soon.
it's just me.
It's just you.
It's just me and Jerry Seinfeld who like this movie. So.
Well, hopefully some of the other people who are in it.
I don't know.
That would be sad.
That's true. Melissa McCarthy is really great in it. And it's just, you know, Amy Schumer. It's such a good cast.
Right?
It's so fun.
It's hard to go wrong with
So
with
I
all
had
those
a
people.
really, really great time with that. I liked it a lot. What else you watching movie-wise?
I don't know if I watched any other movies. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, you watch one.
I watched one.
Tell me the honest truth. Did you watch this because you wanted to, or did you watch this because you knew we were going to record an episode and wanted to have something to say?
I did watch this because I wanted to. Had I not watched this movie, I would have panic watched something else so that I would have something else to talk about.
Well, it's good that you can control the narrative.
It's been kind of a weird month. Like, I know April was a really weird month.
Yeah.
But, like, and May settled down a little bit, but I feel like, I don't know, like the whole, like, traveling, and we had friends unexpectedly visit, and then before that, we were doing something. Caleb was sick, and I feel like I'm still getting back into my normal groove.
Okay.
And therefore watching things has been not as high a priority.
All right. Well, I watched one called Leave the World Behind with Mahershala Ali and Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke. Upsetting movie.
Oh, no.
Very good movie, but it's sort of like these people get this Airbnb like just outside of New York City, but it's in the off season, so it's like a totally dead area. When they become kind of cut off and they start thinking, oh, is something happening? Is there some sort of cataclysmic event happening that we don't know about?
Yikes.
And it just like the dread grows and grows, and it's one of those movies that's too realistic to be comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
You get to the end and you're like, yeah, that's a great plan. That's a good idea. You know, I mean, not a good idea in that it would be the end of the world, but if you want it to end the world, that's not a bad way to do it.
Oh, man.
You know, it's too clever. I didn't like it. Upset me.
Yeah,
great performances, and I mean, I kind of recommend the movie, but there's definitely
a lot
an
of books
ick
and
factor.
movies that it's like, yeah, it's really good, and it's very thought provoking, and I will only read or watch it once.
Yeah. It's exactly how I felt. This was based on a book too, and I was almost like, I should read the book, and then I was like, no, because I want to be able to shut my eyes and dream again, and I can't if I read that book. And then I watched. Have you seen any of the Mad Max movies?
I haven't.
Fury Road, nothing like that.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
that's definitely in the category of like things that people know about that I haven't interacted with.
Yeah, well, my friend Eric made me watch Fury Road, and I was resistant to it for many years. And then with this prequel coming out, which I thought my wife would enjoy the prequel, so I was like, we should just watch Fury Road. So we did, and I really liked it. And then I got invited to a movie night to watch the originals, which I'd never seen, like the Mel Gibson, like 80s. I've never seen these movies. First one, totally bananas. I don't know how you get from that first Mad Max to where you are in Fury Road. Didn't like it. Confusing, hard to follow. The second one was a little bit more like, okay, this has like Mad Max energy, and I kind of get what's happening. Still didn't love the movie. And Fury Road is just sort of like, the set dressing is amazing. Like all the colors, all the cinematography. I mean, it's a truly stunning movie to watch just from a visual standpoint. And the story is just like a relentless car chase. It just never ends, you know.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So I don't know if it would be your jam, but it was interesting and like truly an interesting movie. But man, the originals, whew. I still have to watch Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which also has Tina Turner in it somehow. Not looking forward to it, but I feel like I'm in it now.
But it has Tina Turner, so how bad can it possibly be?
It does have Tina Turner, yeah. You're right.
I feel like I really enjoy car chase scenes in movies, and so I'm like, would I enjoy an entire movie of car chase, or would I be like, okay?
There's an ugliness to it, like intentionally. There's an ugliness to like the characters and the storytelling. I really don't know. I would be interested to know your takeaway on that.
Me too. Because like the vibe I have is I'm like, I don't think I would like this. But then I'm like, but you do like car chases.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Charlize Theron is great in it. I mean, it's compelling. Not my type of movie either, but it worked for me. So I do want to see Furiosa. I mean, I think it looks cool. But those originals, it's a tough sit. It's definitely a check your watch every few minutes and be like, wow.
That's when you need your knitting or your crochet.
You know what? I still have one more movie, so maybe I need to get it back out.
You should.
Because I stalled on that hat I was making. I bit off too much. I could see that. I should have just made infinite scarves.
Yeah, so. Scarves are a good way to go.
Yeah.
There comes a point, though, which I think I've either reached or I'm very close to reaching, where it's like, I already have a scarf and everyone I know has a scarf.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, gotta branch out to something else.
Yeah, I'm there with my stubby hands trying to make something happen. I look over, my wife's spinning gold like Rumpelstiltskin, making sweaters and just whatever she wants, and it just comes into an existence.
Hillary is the true Rumpelstiltskin. You heard it here first, folks.
I don't understand it. Okay, well then what about TV shows? You watching any TV shows?
Actually, yes.
Woo!
Caleb and I started watching X-Men the animated series.
No. Okay, what did you think of it?
So far, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Okay. Well, because we watched that 2-part crossover with Spider-Man for previously on X-Men.
We did.
And I had a pretty good time. And I was like, I'd be down to potentially watch more of this.
Yeah.
And then Caleb has been watching X-Men 97.
Yes, which is a direct continuation from the animated series.
And I saw he was watching that at one point, and I was kind of like, oh, I was thinking we could watch, like, the original one at some point. And he was like, sure. And so...
This is like extra credit. That wasn't even for our podcast.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and actually, the other day we were talking about it, and he was like, I was going to text Nick and ask like something about it. He was like, but then I was like, maybe I shouldn't because you guys are going to record your bookshelf episode, so it'll be a surprise.
He was right because I am genuinely surprised.
Right, that's what I figured.
Animated series. I'll tell you what. This is a little bit of a warning. I think we've talked about it before, but that first season is a tight, serialized story, and after that, it is not.
Yeah, I've been kind of impressed by how serialized it is so far.
It's very impressive, and I've been sort of rewatching it as Hillary and Eric go through it previously on X-Men, and I haven't really revisited since I was a kid. I feel like 90% of my warm, like positive memories of this show are from that first season because it's just so tight. It was like morph. Just a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on.
So, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I want to watch X-Men 97, but I've never actually seen the finale of the original. And so I'm waiting until they get there and previously on X-Men, and then I'm going to start watching
it feels like that's probably the way to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so close. I think they have like 5 episodes left before they can start 97, so I'll be patient. But wow, okay. Look at that. This was... Like this and Beverly Hills 90210 were appointment TV for me. It was like never miss an episode. Talk to my friend on the phone while it's going on.
That's so fun.
It was
it's like a When Harry Met Sally moment.
Yes, yeah. We didn't fall in love, but we did watch it together regularly. I was like, what's going to happen? I was really.
I feel like I've never really had that experience because by the time I was watching TV, it was like mostly streaming anyway.
Yeah.
And like I feel like with some of the newer like Disney Plus and stuff like that, the shows that like come out on a certain day, it's like closer because it'll be like, oh, it's Wednesday, we need to watch, whatever it is. Yeah. But like it's still a little different because it's like, well, if we're busy, we can just watch it on Thursday. Yeah. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish I could have more of that experience. It sounds fun.
I have never gotten over, and it's almost like 35 years later, I've never gotten over the cancellation of Super Friends. This was my first like. Every Saturday it was on at like 10 a.m. I would go to watch it, and then one Saturday I turned it on, no Super Friends.
Oh my gosh. There wasn't even like an announcement? It just happened?
No, because it was a Wild West of the 80s. You know what I mean? There was no like, you couldn't look it up to see why there wasn't Super Friends
just like
on.
Pull out your phone and go, where is Super Friends?
It wasn't there. And I just, and that was at a time when there was like there was nothing. Like Super Friends was the only like thing like that really happening. So when that was canceled, it was like, you better hope somebody's airing reruns of Linda Carter's Wonder Woman or Adam West Burt Ward Batman.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
So it was a real sting that stayed with
me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Okay. I have started this show called The Calling, and it's on... It's like a Peacock original, and I know that there's one season out. I don't know if it's like a mini series or if it was a one and done, like got canceled kind of thing. It's created by David E. Kelly, who created... things like The Practice or Boston Legal or Ally McBeal, which you probably never heard of, but those are like...
I've definitely heard that name, but I think it's because you have said it to me before and asked if I recognized it.
I'm so glad that I can enrich your life in this way. But I just love his writing. And it's based on this novel called The Missing File by Dror Mishani. And there's 3 books that are translated into English so far. He's an Israeli author. And so we have the books as well. So I wanted to start reading the book, but now I don't want to spoil the show. So I'll probably finish that season. But I'm about halfway through it, and I'm very intrigued. It's a mystery, and it's one where it's like every episode I feel kind of locked in with like, well, surely I can trust this person. And then the episode goes, and I'm like, nope, can't.
Never mind.
No idea. Everybody's
Nothing
a suspect. I don't know what's happening. So I like that a lot. And my friend Kendra and I are slogging our way through 90210 season 8, and
how many seasons are there again?
There's 10.
Oh my gosh.
There's 10.
You're getting close.
I know. There's the high school years, and then there's the college years, and the college years end at the end of season 7. And I've always kind of felt in my mind that like that's the place to stop. Were I to recommend it, I would probably say get through those college years, and then good things still happen. There are things that have storylines that I enjoy that happen, but it's just a real. I remembered it being this way, and I was hoping I was wrong. And as we're going through these episodes, I'm like, woo, rough stuff. So that's been the bulk of my watching. Anything else on your?
Just the usual stuff.
Okay.
Gradually working our way through Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right.
Started rewatching Wednesday so my family can watch it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my brother Wes has been really excited about it.
Yeah,
you gotta.
I don't know why I got away from it.
And they started working on season 2, which I'm super pumped about. There's like some news about actors that are attached to it.
Yeah, I've heard a few things. And I'm like, oh, that's intriguing. So
I know. I'm curious to see where it goes.
I got to get back in. All right. Well, then let's talk about books. Let's get our library on. What are you reading? What are you reading right now?
I am currently reading I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay.
Okay.
This is a boarding school mystery from the perspective of a woman who used to go to the school.
Yes.
Her roommate was killed while she was there, and she's back now as a teacher. And some of her students are like doing a podcast about the thing. Anyway, so she's kind of looking into it. And I love a good mystery.
Yeah.
So far, it's been really good. It's like it's a pretty hefty book, and I started trying to read the physical version, and I failed.
Okay.
And then my hold on the audiobook came in, and I'm doing great. So
nice. Okay.
Audiobooks are the way.
That's good. That's the way to go. I know we've talked about this before. Were you reading this last time, or did we just talk about it?
I think I might have just started it last time.
So
or we just talked about it.
Now you're fully
off mic,
in the
I
zone.
don't know.
Anything that you finished that you enjoyed?
I finished a couple things. One that I really enjoyed called Dungeons and Drama.
Okay. All right.
Which I was extremely excited when I saw this book. Basically what it is, it's a YA book. And it's like a fake dating situation, but it's about a girl who's like a theater girl, and there's a guy who's like a D&D gamer sort of guy. And her dad has a game shop.
And drama.
Exactly.
Come together.
And he works there, and she, for reasons, is having to work there as a punishment.
All right.
And anyway, so they end up fake dating for reasons. It's just really fun. You get to see her experiencing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time, and I had a blast.
I love this sort of like interpersonal, like vaguely soapy kind of drama with comedy mixed in. Like I need that in my life.
I feel guilty about how much I enjoy that, but I really do.
Lean into it.
I really do.
Lean into it. It's fun. Okay, well, let's see. I finished one called The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, and it was pretty good. It was about these two friends who they sort of have like frenemy energy, and one of them is a really popular like self-help kind of author, like I felt like they were going for kind of like a Glennon Doyle kind of thing, and the other one writes cozies, like cozy mysteries. And they decide to go off and rent this villa in Italy and write their books in this place. There's a famous murder happened there with like a rock star and an author, like in the 70s. And so the narrative is kind of split between what's going on in the present and what's going on in the 70s. And then things kind of start to, you can see parallels in the stories as it goes along. And so there's sort of a cloud over the murder that happened and what really happened. And it kind of, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I hadn't read this author before. I just picked it up, honestly, because the cover appealed to me. And I liked it. I've recommended it to a few people because it's a good, it's fun. It's not too deep or dark. The mystery is good. And like I sort of liked all aspects of it, so I had quite a good time with it.
I love it when you like do actually judge a book by its cover, and then you're totally justified. Yeah. It's like I know we're messing up the whole moral lesson from this, but sometimes that is actually how it works.
It's true. I'm splitting my time between From Russia with Love by Ian Fleming. This is an early James Bond novel, And it's about 300 pages. I'm about 100 pages in. And if you had to guess whether or not James Bond has been in this book, what would you guess?
I would guess yes, seeing as it's a James Bond book.
He has not appeared.
That's so weird.
He got name dropped around page 70, 75, but he has not appeared.
So who is the book following? Like what's happening?
It seems to be you're seeing it from like the other angle. You know, like Schmersh is the name of the like villainous spy organization. I know. And so you're seeing it from them, and you're seeing them kind of amp up, and it's kind of pulling into the James Bond orbit. So it has been interesting. Like it's held my interest, and it's, you know, characters that I kind of recognize the names from the movie, but it's not really following the movie plot. But yeah, no James Bond yet. So
yeah, that's definitely the kind of thing that I could see being either like, yeah, this is fun. We're like seeing what the villain organization is up to, or being like, all right.
Yeah. It's certainly different. Like, I guess I was probably like 20 pages in, and I was kind of like, where the heck is James Bond?
Right.
And after that, I was kind of like, okay.
I guess this is what we're doing.
I did end up like flipping through and finally seeing like James Bond said this or whatever. And I was like, okay, so he does appear at some point.
It's not just alluded to.
So I'm reading that, and then I'm listening to Life, which is the autobiography by Keith Richards, which is read by Johnny Depp, which is sort of interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp based his Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow, like swagger on Keith Richards.
Oh.
So, you know, I don't know. It's just, it makes the audiobook extra interesting to have it sort of performed by Johnny Depp. So, yeah. Are you listening to an audiobook? What you said that's what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing for the boarding school mystery.
Comic books?
I don't have any at the moment.
Nothing at all.
I'm planning some soon, but...
Well, I supported a Kickstarter for this graphic novel called The Dusk, and it's by Alex Segura, who's a pretty popular YA author. I know he wrote one Star Wars book, Poe Dameron Freefall, which I really liked, but he's written a bunch of other stuff as well. And so I was really interested in this, and I want to say it was like late 2021 or 2022, and it was supposed to be like, oh, the graphic novel will be out in a couple of months, and I literally just got it in the mail, like years later.
Sometimes that's how that goes.
I was delighted, though. It showed up, and I was like, hey, this thing happened. It was like
nice.
I bought myself a present in 2022, and it just arrived, so... but I liked it. It was good. It's a superhero kind of story, but the goal, I think, is to sort of look at it from all sides, like what happens after the villain is caught, and what about the people who get caught up in sort of the machine of all that. So it's like 4 or 5 issues, and so you don't really get into the deep depths of the story just yet, but I like it, and I hope there's a volume 2. I really like the art, and I like the story, and it was fun. I mentioned my friend Kendra, who's watching 90210 with me. She was just up for a baby shower, and she and her husband, Eric, went to this big, giant book sale, like warehouse book sale, and they got me this Super Sons omnibus. So it's like, do you know what Super Sons is? I think we have some of it here. It's huge. And so she lugged it all the way on a plane for me, and I've been reading it. And I've read a lot of them before, but it's so cool to have them all in one giant, oversized omnibus. So
there is something really satisfying about
I've been
an
reading
omnibus.
that too, but I feel like my biceps are going to get huge just from picking it up off the ground and like curling it, because it's...
You just have to make
heavy.
Sure you use both arms when you're reading.
That's true.
So
I gotta even it out. I gotta even it out. Yeah. So, you know, it makes me appreciate Kendra lugging it on an airplane all the more, because...
That is an impressive feat.
It's heavy. Okay, so no comic books. What about other things? Music?
Well, I did discover a new Irish band that I really like.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I know you're shocked.
I am
Can
shocked,
you
because I'm
believe
listening
it?
to the High Kings right now.
I know.
So what is this new Irish band?
It's called, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly because it's an Irish word, Calla Nua.
Okay.
And this is one that I was actually building a playlist for my D&D character for the game that I play with my friends.
Nerd alert.
I know. It truly is a nerdy moment. And I was looking for like some folk songs, because the character is like, she was an entertainer before she became an adventurer, basically.
Okay.
So she like plays a lot of folk songs and that kind of thing. And I stumbled across one of the songs called Craigie Hills, and I was like, man, this is really fun. I'll put it on the playlist. And then every time it came up on the playlist, I was like, man, this is really like, this is the best one. And so I started listening just to all of their songs, and I'm immensely satisfied. They're all so good.
It's fun when that happens.
I know.
When you stumble into something new.
Because sometimes you listen to one song and you're like, this is pretty good. And then you listen to the rest and you're like,
yeah,
this is kind of a one-off.
Yeah. Well, I love Dua Lipa, and she was like a guest on Saturday Night Live, and one of the songs was on, and I was like, wait, do I love this? What's happening? So, yeah, it's fun to discover. What about your concert? You went to a concert?
I did go to a concert.
Okay,
I went to Belle and Sebastian, finally, after like a really long time of trying.
When we started this podcast, you were going to go, and then they got sick.
Yes. Yeah, right. The main guy, Stuart Murdoch.
Yeah, whose name is not Sebastian, just to be clear. Everyone.
None of them are named either Belle or Sebastian.
See, Sonny and Cher were just Sonny and Cher. That was just their names.
It makes sense. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where the name came from. I need to look into the deep lore of Belle and Sebastian.
Sonny's full name was Salvatore, but
I mean, like, Sonny is a standard nickname for Salvatore. So
is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I knew a guy in college named Sonny whose real name was Salvatore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, great.
Yeah.
How were Belle and Sebastian live?
They were really good. I had a great time. Caleb was a great sport and came with me despite being minimally familiar with Belle and Sebastian. Yeah. I tried really hard to get him to listen to a bunch of it, like in preparation, and he listened to some, but like not enough. They've been a band since like 1995 or something like that. So there's a great amount of music to listen to. Yeah. And they did play quite a like range in terms of
that's cool.
Which years they
I love
picked.
me a deep cut at a concert.
I know.
You know?
I know. And they played a lot of my
One
favorites,
for the fans,
which was fantastic. So there's this weird song they have called Funny Little Frog where they rhyme know it with throat, but it's like throw it. Okay. Like you're the funny little frog in my throw it. Okay. And it's just a really fun, silly song. And they played that. And I feel like a bunch of other people in the audience were kind of like, all right. And I was like, yeah.
I saw a McCartney concert once, and I mean, I've seen it, I think 5 times have I seen Paul McCartney. And this one show that we went to in Buffalo, he did so many deep cuts, just these weird, like, Temporary Secretary and, like, All Together Now, which is a Beatles song from Yellow Submarine, just, like, really random stuff. So that's always exciting when that happens.
And especially if you know the deep cut. Like, if they do a deep cut and you're like, this isn't what I know.
Yeah, you don't know it. Yeah.
Then you feel like a fake fan.
Yeah, he didn't throw anything at me that I didn't know, which was exciting. So do you think that Caleb came around? Is he a Belle and Sebastian fan?
I don't know if he came around, but I think he enjoyed it. And I think he'd be open to listening to more. Yeah. I hope.
Okay. Hillary and I went to see Tori Amos, and it was not the plan that I was going to go. She and her sister were going to go, and then Allison couldn't, and so I ended up going, knowing like nothing about Tori Amos. And I had a good time, but I wasn't like, no, I'm going to listen to Tori Amos. But we saw Guster, and I didn't know anything about Guster other than I could hum along to Satellite. And after that, I was like, I guess I'm into Guster. So
sometimes that's how that goes.
It's nice when that happens. What was the Belle and Sebastian one you made me listen to in one of our like proto episodes? Do you remember?
Did I make you listen to the whole album of Girls in Peacetime Wanna Dance?
That doesn't seem familiar to me at all.
None of the songs are actually named that, I don't think. Okay. Well, maybe I'm
I don't know. We'll have to go into the archives
like Nobody's
and find
Empire,
out
maybe.
What you made me
listen to.
We
will have to go into the archives.
Okay.
I feel like that's probably the album I would have picked.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was all of it or just some of it.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Well, if you're new to the show, you can listen to all the back episodes of previous podcasts, like the All the Book Show and How's Things, where Ally made her debut at soundcloud.com/allthebooks or our YouTube page. Speaking of Ally making debuts, you're celebrating a work anniversary. 3 years.
3 whole years.
3 years here at the David A. Howe. How do you feel?
It both feels like I just got here and like I've been here forever.
I mean, I feel that way a little bit, and it's like over 10 for me now, so I kind of get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to stick around? Are you?
That's the plan for a while at least.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were just going to hit that 3 and then
this is when I put in my 2 weeks notice right in this moment.
I mean,
can you imagine?
I would sort of respect it. I mean, just to drop that, right before summer reading program, just my like gosh. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that I feel like I didn't realize when I started. Because, like, it was like, oh, yeah, summer reading program is coming up quick, and, like, you need to plan that. And I was like, all right, I'll plan that. And I was like, what does that even mean? So I pestered Kate with so many questions. Yeah. She was very patient, and I appreciate it. Yeah. But, like, in subsequent years, as I've been, like, prepping summer reading, I've been like, I started in the middle of May. Yeah. And summer reading starts at the end of June.
Real quick.
How did I do that?
Yeah. I remember that. I mean, we were stressed about it, too. I remember we ordered T-shirts and bags and things. We were just kind of like, we're going to need something, you know, so...
Yeah, like, we'll just go with it.
Because the year before was COVID, so it was 2020, so we weren't really open. So we did do a teen summer reading program, but it had been kind of, 2 years really since we had a program in earnest. So yeah, daunting time to start. And at that time, that was right when the teen photo show was. So
it was like that week. I started on Monday and on Thursday. I didn't really do anything for it, though. Yeah. I showed up, and you were like, you should say something. And I was like, hi, I'm the teen librarian.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks, Kay, for doing all the work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's been a fun 3 years.
I've had a good time.
That's good. Anything else in your orbit that we should talk about?
I don't think so. Did we talk about what music you've been listening to, though?
No, we didn't, but I would love to tell you. I have been listening to the High Kings.
Perfect.
As you know.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah, and I've been sort of keeping a mental tally of songs I like and not the ones that I don't like. This is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm just going to tell you, I don't love the acapellas.
Yeah, the acapellas, some of them I really like, but a lot of them when we heard them in concert, they did one or two of the acapellas and they were fantastic in concert. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, a lot makes sense now that didn't make sense before. Yeah. Some of them I like, but a lot of them I'm kind of like, all right.
I saw Rufus Wainwright in concert a few years ago, and he did an acapella like live in this very echoey. It was a great space, like acoustically, and it was amazing. I mean, it blew the roof off. So, yeah, that does seem like something that would work better live than on an album. But I'm listening to that. I've got Rolling Stones kind of in a constant rotation, and I've been listening to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo.
That's a little bit of a surprise to me.
I don't know how it happened. I feel like it was in like. Sometimes I use that like mix on Spotify and probably just from other kinds of things that I like. Well, maybe even like, Dua Lipa and things like that.
But I could see that.
Even some of the 70s and 80s sort of like disco-y or like brighter stuff like ELO or something like that kind of lends itself to some of her style. So it just happened that way. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm into this. So
nice.
Yeah, that's a recent discovery.
I like some good Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. And then I'm playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora on PlayStation 5.
Nice.
I don't super care about the Avatar movies. I've seen them both. I like them fine. But I finished the Miles Morales Spider-Man game and was like, I need something big and epic, but I can't play another Spider-Man game right now. And I randomly settled on this Avatar game, and yeah.
Are you? Is it filling the Spider-Man shaped hole?
It is. I'm never good at like combat. It's just not. That's what I like about the Spider-Man thing. There's a lot of like range stuff, but there's also you can really like get in there and brawl. I'm better at that. Avatar's a lot of like bows and arrows and things like that, and I'm embarrassingly bad at that. So, but what I like about it is that you can kind of see these are the different tasks that are happening, and you can choose the ones that go with your strength. So you kind of build it up, and then make a run at a bigger thing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Visually, it's great. And I think overall it is kind of filling the hole that I wanted it to.
That's what we like
Stardew
to
Valley? What are you up to?
Mostly Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Stardew Valley.
So. How's your farm?
A little bit of Minecraft. Good. Coming along well.
Okay.
Some of the NPCs just invited me over for dinner and asked me to bring a specific fish.
Well.
And so I spent most of the day fishing, trying to get that specific fish because I didn't have one. I did catch it. They were pleased.
Wow. Really expanding your social circle.
I know.
That's good for you. My son just had a birthday. He double digits. So
that's pretty crazy.
Big time. And he wanted Switch Sports. And so we got that. And that's been fun. Did you ever play like Wii Sports or any of those other?
I did.
I played a lot of Wii Sports. But Switch Sports is fun. It has like a badminton and it has I don't know why I stumbled over that word. Badminton. It was like my battery was running out.
Yeah, I just have to call it Battlecock and Shuttle Door?
Okay.
Is that right? Battle Door and Shuttle? I'm messing it up.
I think you're making this up, but
it's a real thing.
It's got tennis, it's got bowling.
Battle Door and Shuttlecock.
A little sword fight. Okay, yeah, I'll just call it that. So I've also been playing that, and that's fun. That's definitely one where like my right arm, like we're done, and my shoulder and right arm are like. Wah.
Is it like a situation where you like take the little thing off the side and like use it as like a
as a racket or a bowling ball or whatever? Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
So that's been keeping me entertained as well. And other than that, I'm just I've got High Kings in the rotation. I'm listening to the original, the self-titled album, and the most recent that I'm forgetting the name of. What is it?
The Road Not Taken.
The Road Not Taken. Yes, but also just because I've been listening to it a lot, other of their songs are kind of getting pulled in when I'm just like on shuffle or something like that.
That makes sense.
So I've heard some things from off of those albums too, and I definitely have opinions forming. So
oh man,
you'll have to find out, folks, in 2 weeks, how I feel about the High Kings, because we'll be back to talk about that. And then you'll get a new assignment.
I know.
And who knows what it will be.
Who knows what it could be anything.
I know.
At this point.
Yeah. Also, we're coming up on Pride Month, which is June, and Allie and I are going to be doing a little 2-person Pride Month book club of Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher.
I'm pretty excited for it.
I'm excited for it, too. This is one that I saw in like Kirkus, I think, in reviews coming in for it, and I see it pop up on Goodreads and things like that, and I like the idea of it. So I'm glad you were down to read it. So we'll be talking about that in our June bookshelf as well. So if you want to read along with us, we got copies right here.
Yeah, you should.
At the old David A. Howe Public Library. And people, use Libby.
Absolutely. Libby is the
enough.
best. I don't know who I would be without Libby. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
There would be so many books that I wouldn't. Because like with that whole Rebecca Mackay book, and I'm like, I just can't read it. I can't sit down and read this, but I can putter around my house like a maniac listening to it.
I would say my Libby usage is like 90% audiobooks because I just like to have that when I'm like, I was just mowing the lawn, listening to Johnny Depp narrate Keith Richards' life. You know what I mean? Couldn't do that without Libby.
I can't do the ebook thing. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I've tried.
I keep telling you got to reverse the polarity. You got to make it black background, white text.
Even when I do, I'm like,
you tried?
It's still,
Okay, well,
I
agree with you. It's not my preferred reading style, but certain times...
It can be good in a pinch. Like if you're in a doctor's office and you're like, well, I've got nothing to do.
Phone or like on my tablet, sometimes in bed, especially when it's like a big, thick hardcover.
Oh, yeah. Those hardcovers are so painful when you drop them on your face in bed.
I don't need to be breaking my nose. So, but regardless, Libby is just
Libby's
great.
the way to go.
It's good for graphic novels also. Maybe you'd like that.
Yeah, that's true. I could see doing that.
That's how I read most of Spy Family back in the day.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good old Spy Family.
Well, if you don't know how to use Libby, we'll tell you. And if you're local, on June 1st, we're having a big kickoff to summer. We've got live animals for a little petting zoo. We've got all sorts of crafts and raffles, and we've got live music from the Young Sisters. Lots of things going on. So that's June 1st, 11 to 1.
And we will show you how to use Libby. If you come up to us and ask how to do it, be like, hey, how to use Libby? And I'm like... it delights me more than just about anything else. If someone comes in and they're like, how do I use Libby? And I'm like, let me show you.
It is delightful. And I have found that any time that I've showed somebody how to do it, I've never had a situation where they're like, I'm never going to use that again.
Yeah, it's true. Once you know how to do it, you're going to be a fan.
You got to get over that hump.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I will see you in a couple of weeks to talk about the High Kings.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.